Welcome back. The ICA is exploring the 50-year career of artist Stanley Whitney in a retrospective called How High the Moon. And joining us now is Stanley Whitney and Ruth Erickson, Barbara Lee, Chief Curator and Director of Curatorial Affairs at the ICA Boston. Welcome to you both. Stanley, I want to start with you.
Okay.
People often fear color, fear decorating with it, wearing bold colors, using too many different colors, but you want your audience to focus on their response to color. How are you hoping people respond to the art and the colorful images that you bring?
It's interesting about that because people, it's abstract work, but the color produces stories. Mm-hmm. So let's say if someone wanted to purchase one of the paintings, I probably wouldn't show them too many paintings, because they get confused. But people will talk about the paintings in terms of their experiences, like this color or that color. So it's interesting because, since they're abstract and there's no story, the people bring the story to the paintings.
So when you're creating the art, do you see the colors right away?
Do I see the colors right away? It's like call and response, color calls a color. Mm-hmm. It's not like I don't start off with an idea of what color I'm going to use. Mm-hmm. It's really kind of like intuitive. Mm-hmm. So the color calls the color. But as a young person, even as a kid, I always could make things better with color. Mm-hmm. And so color, it took me years to make color a subject matter. Because I could take a drawing or something, and I got better if I put color. So mm-hmm. I had the color, but I didn't know really how I was what to do with it.
I see your glasses are very colorful.
Oh yeah, these glasses, that's true, they are.
That's an extension of...
Well, it's funny because these glasses I bought a while ago and I forgot I had them for a long time. And I didn't wear them for a while, but I thought this was an appropriate time to wear them.
It's a very appropriate time. Okay, so Ruth, tell us a little bit about how the exhibition is set up and what makes it unique.
Yeah, so this is Stanley Whitney's first survey exhibition. As you said, it's 50 years of practice, and it really walks you through chronologically an artist who has been dedicated for decades to the practice of painting and to what somebody can do with the fundamentals of art, of line, of color, of composition. So you get early works from the 70s when Stanley has just graduated from Yale with his MFA, up to works he made last year. Mm-hmm. And you really can see this kind of chronological progress of an artist who is so committed to experimentation, so committed to exploring those fundamentals, and ultimately hits a breakthrough of really creating a signature new form of painting. And that's really what you get to at the end.
I love the title of the exhibition, How High the Moon, named after that great jazz standard recorded by many, including the fabulous Ella Fitzgerald. Yes. So when you're painting, how much of this is planned? How much is improvisational, like jazz?
The color is the signature kind of structure is there, so that gives the color is improvisation. Mm-hmm. So I never know what the painting is going to be color. I know what the structure is going to be, but I don't know what the color is going to be. Mm-hmm. So really, it's a combination of having something really sort of rigid, and also having something that's really totally free. Mm-hmm. So, and the color, but the color changes if I put it on thinner, if I put it on thicker, if it's transparent, if it's opaque. Mm-hmm. So all those things about color happen in the paintings. So it's kind of a free because the structure's there.
Now you were in art school during the Vietnam War. I understand the Black Panther movement wanted you to join their ranks. And now, fast forward to present time, people are looking for artists to make a social statement and a political statement with their work. Is that part of what art should be?
I think that depends on what artists want to do. Mm-hmm. I think every artist should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. If they want to be more social, if they want to be more storytelling, if they want to be more open. I like the fact that my paintings, I would say my paintings are political, but how they're political is not a narrative, mm-hmm. So that's, in terms of who makes these paintings, or, people are surprised sometimes that I'm an Afro-American painter, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's a story one time with an African paint collector who loved my paintings, but didn't know I was Afro-American, you know what I mean? And then he said, oh my God. So I think it's just who you are, how you are. It's your choice as an
Did he
artist.
still buy the art?
Yeah, then he bought the art.
Okay.
But I think that's interesting in terms, because you really want to open things up and raise questions. You don't really want to answer, you really want to raise issues, raise questions, and open things up for people.
Let me ask Ruth then, talk about raising questions. Why is the opportunity to do a retrospective like this so important to the ICA?
Yeah, I think, you know, the ICA has a long history, now almost 90 years old, of, you know, giving an artist like Stanley, who is so deserved of a retrospective, a really chance to see what it means to be dedicated to artistic practice, to be inventing new forms. And so I think it's an opportunity for all of our audiences just to delight in hard work, to delight in the beauty of the work. And one of the things about Stanley's paintings, you know, talking about color, with these paintings, every time you come back to them, they feel new, they feel fresh. They're paintings that you don't tire of, like the great works of art. And I think that's because every day you come and, you know, a color is a little bit different. What did you do that morning? How's the sun that day? What kind of memory do you bring to it? And what's your mood? And they are just paintings that feel so
How did it impact your
generative.
mood as you were putting it together?
Yeah, well, it was a total joy to put together, I gotta say. And you know, this show hung itself, honestly. The paintings are so good, I didn't need to do much. I just had to make sure they got up on the wall safely with the team at the ICA. And yeah, it's really, you know, but they're not just joyful and delightful. They're also, you know, some evoke a mood and vibrant and all the spectrum of emotions, just like a great piece of music, just like a great painting.
Okay, I love it. Ruth and Stanley, thank you so much for being here.
Sure.
How High the Moon will be at the ICA through September 1st with exhibition tours on many upcoming Sunday afternoons. Go to our CityLine website to link to more details.